Pregame.com.
Friday night, Major League Baseball. We've got the Pittsburgh Pirates, Cleveland Indians. Scott, here's two teams that are overachieving. And Pittsburgh Pirates, you know I'm a Pittsburgh guy. Last time the Pittsburgh Pirates had a winning baseball season, Barry Bonds had a normal-sized head and neck. He was a skinny little kid in Pittsburgh.
I got a lot of friends. Listen, I got a lot of friends from Steubenville, Ohio. I've got a lot of friends from the Pittsburgh area, including you. And about once every month, I'll be talking to one of them, or out having a cold one or something, and I have to say sympathy. I have to. Sorry about that.
It's going to be a total coincidence that you got 4 flat tires.
But here, I will say this, though, to make up for that. Hey, they're up 11 units on the season. If you're betting the Pittsburgh Pirates, you are blindly, which I don't recommend on anybody, but they're up 11 units on the season, and it's been all about pitching. I mean, 4th in the majors as far as their starting rotation ERA of 3.34. They're 7th in OPS allowed, the pitching, so they're doing it great on the mound, and the bullpen is about as good as it gets as far as their overall ERA. I think it's 2nd in the majors right now. They're going up against a team that only averages about 4 runs per game in home night games against righties, so should be a good game. A good chance for the underdog to come in here possibly, Marco.
This is where I'm going. I'm not going to do a Pittsburgh video and not take my Pirates here because that's we've got a hot ball club, and all kidding aside, we're taping on Wednesday, so there's going to be a couple games played before this is gone. But right now, as of Wednesday, the Pittsburgh Pirates are one of the hottest teams in baseball. They're 12-4 of their last 16 games. You mentioned the pitching. The pitching has always been there for Pittsburgh. The last couple of years, they've had a very good pitching staff, but they've had no hitting. All of a sudden, the difference in this winning streak, they've got hitting to go up with that pitching. 7 of their last 8 games, the Pirates have scored 4 or more runs. Now, at the beginning of the season, you go back and look at this team, they were an under machine. There's no runs were being scored by the Pirates, and they were only, they got their pitchers going out, giving you those quality starts every start. And speaking of quality starts, the guy on the mound tonight, Friday night for the Pirates, McDonald, 10 straight starts, 3 runs or less. You go out there and you keep your team in a ball game, and you're a team like the Pirates that's an underdog, I'm going to take my chances all the time, as a live dog. And as you said, they're up 11 units. And this is going to go into one of my handicapping theories. Cleveland, this is Friday night. It's the first game of the series. Cleveland's returning home from a road trip. It's a 9-game road trip. I don't like teams that first game back home from a road trip. They're human beings like you and me. They got a family, they got a wife, they got kids. It's your first day back. You got, kind of some family issues. You're kind of distracted. Your mind's not totally on baseball. And I think these teams struggle in that first game back. Add to that, they're coming off the 3 series that they played. Detroit, which is, their rival in the division, and everybo's pick that was supposed to win.
Even though Detroit's down, Cleveland has to get jacked up for that series, obviously, in their same division. Exactly.
Yeah, as much as we're talking about what pleasant surprises these two teams are, the Detroit Tigers that you did, Matt, is there a team that's been a bigger disappointment this year?
No, because the other team that was so disappointing the first month of the season has come around, that being the Angels, but Detroit's still suffering big time. I know you're leaning, obviously, here on the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the biggest thing for me about McDonald is that he did it at home last year. He was great at home, but he was poor on the road. And in fact, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I think his ERA on the road was north of 5. And now this year on the road, he doesn't have that problem. He's got a 110 whip so far when he takes the bump on the road. And here's the thing about Masterson. Now, at times he looks great. At times he looks horrible. That's the whole thing. If I can use this term, he is my fondue of the pitching world because when you dip in, you're not quite sure what you're going to get out. And the reason I say that is because Masterson, last start, 0 walks. Start before that, I think it was 3 walks. Start before that, 0 walks. Start before that, 5 walks in 7 innings. You never know what you're going to get, and he's so hard to judge because he can come out and totally be lost as far as his location is concerned. Come out at other times and look like he belongs as one of the top 10 pitchers in the league. So I cannot rely on a pitcher like that, and if he's laying a price against a team that's playing very solid baseball, some of the best baseball in the league right now, with solid pitching, I'd have to lean towards that underdog also.
Yeah, if Masterson, what you said, in his last 10 games, he's had 3 of the 10 starts, like you said, a couple good ones, and then he has that bad one. 3 of the 10 starts, he's given up 4 runs or more. And when you talk about solid baseball, the Pirates have a great closer. He's converted 17 of 19 saves. And one thing that I don't think is going noticed, insiders see it, and you happen, before we went on the air, you said you're a big fan of his. Clint Hurdle has done a tremendous job with this Pittsburgh Pirates team. It started last year. They had a good first half, and then they kind of ran out of gas, some injuries, and, some of the young pitchers their arms got a little bit tired second half of the season. But they're making, if they can continue to hit, the Pirates are in a division that nobody is, standing up and saying, this is our division.
Let me ask you about this real quick because, I'm watching that division, obviously, and here's how strong the St. Louis Cardinals start was. They're 31-31 as we cut this video, and that team is still up. They got a plus 50 run differential, and they're 31-31, which shows just how well they were playing. And no disrespect meant to what Cincinnati's done, what Pittsburgh is doing, but I really believe truly that if the St. Louis Cardinals didn't suffer the key injuries that they have, they would have run away with the Central Division. Now, there's no way to prove that, but a plus 50 run differential still, when you're right at 500, shows how well they were. Carpenter hasn't pitched. Wainwright struggled early on. They've had the offensive problems as far as injuries are concerned that have really shaken that team up, but they got to deal with it. And here's the last thing I'm going to say about this. I know you're a Pittsburgh guy, and you should be pounding your chest right now with what they've done the last 2 years. Let me ask you if you think they're going to go into a swoon, because even with the uptick in run scoring, they're still 29th in the league or whatever in run scoring per game. They're still 30th in the league in both team batting average, which is dead last, and OPS on the opposite side of the game. And they're, I believe it's 21st or 22nd in quality starts on the season. So this all, when I add that up and I'm looking ahead, I'm thinking, man, this adds up to a real tough string coming up for this team somewhere pretty soon. Maybe they don't. But when I see all those weird offensive numbers, it kind of scares me a little bit. How do you feel about those?
What I'm hoping for a change is, as we get, we're in the middle of June right now, as we get closer to July where the teams start, are we a buyer or are we a seller? Could the Pirates please be a buyer and go out and get another bat for McCutchen? I mean, they've got a superstar in center field. McCutchen is just unreal. And now that a couple other guys are starting to hit, it's making him better because it's protecting him in the lineup. If you only got one guy that's doing any damage for you, you can work around that guy in the lineup. But now you get somebody in front of him and behind him. This team, they can be good. They're this close. So I hope they go out and buy, they went out, they got another pitcher. They got a veteran pitcher this year, A.J. Burnett.
He's been great.
He's started, and don't forget, as bad as they started hitting, they didn't start the season with A.J. Burnett because of that injury. He's come back, and and if he can stable down, get that young staff not to get flustered as we go deeper into the season, and to get some bats. This is a team that could hang around, and believe me, Pittsburgh needs a winning season out of a baseball team. It's the longest losing major league of any sport. Any franchise. It's the longest losing streak in pro sports.
So you're on Pittsburgh in this game, right?
I'm on Pittsburgh in this game.
What about, how about an early prediction, mid-June prediction on whether they'll be able to catch Cincy? You think so or not? Or St. Louis. St. Louis could always come back in the mix.
To be honest with you, I fear St. Louis getting healthy more than Cincinnati running away with it, if you put the gun to my head. I think that St. Louis has the pitching that if they can get their offense going again, that they still are the team to beat in that division.
I agree with you. Yep.
All right, there you have it. Friday Night Baseball, Pittsburgh Pirates, the second place Pittsburgh Pirates. Check them out. I'm expecting them to come out as a dog. Cleveland should be minus 140, 145 in this game. Take Pittsburgh as a dog. I'm taking them any price at a dog in this game. And that's going to wrap it up for pregame.tv. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to take some weekend videos. I'll be in the studios with Vegas Runner. We'll take a look at the weekend action. Stay tuned all week long to pregame.tv.